Welcome to the Movements Podcast. This is Steve Edison. We're in the second half of our interview at a restaurant in South Carolina. We've been talking to Neil and Dean and Clint about their morning out in the community looking for persons of peace, sharing the gospel, organizing to meet with folk in their home for Bible study. And now in this second half, we're transitioning to talk to Neil, who's the lead pastor at Element Church in Shelby, North Carolina, and just discussing with him, as he and the guys go out in the community and encourage others to do that, what changes are occurring in the church that he leads. It's a church of, I think, 400 or 500 people, 3 different campuses in the area, and he's going to just discuss from the perspective of a lead pastor what happens when they start doing the ministry of Jesus in the community. How does that change the way they do church when they're gathered? And Neil loves to talk about God's people scattering out into the community and reaching others, and then gathering in homes and also gathering in a larger celebration to just acknowledge what God has been doing during the week. So we'll go to the interview with Neil Perry of Element Church. How did the journey start for you?
Let me begin by saying I hate Jeff Sundell.
You hate him, yeah?
Okay. No. 2007, planted a church in my hometown, a very small town. Attractional model, most definitely. Mm-hmm. Using upbeat praise and worship music and secular music or mainstream music at times to connect, to build a bridge. That was sort of the DNA. That's the direction we were going. And God did use that. We began to grow very rapidly for our little small town. Then I sat down with Jeff for breakfast, and it turned into a 3-hour meeting just talking about discipleship. And reproducing discipleship, what that looked like in an international context. What could that look like in a Western, United States, Forest City, Rutherford County, Redneckville, Booger Holler, Sandy Mush area.
Because Jeff had just come back from Nepal.
Correct.
Yeah.
I realized and was convicted sitting there in McDonald's that somewhere along the way, I didn't realize it to that moment, I had made it about butts and seats, trying to grow a church. Jeff said some words to me. He said, Neil, the North American church pastor and church needs to make a decision. It's going to be about growing a church or reaching a community. And that was convicting to me, even though I always had a heart for evangelism, reaching the lost. That's what we were about. That was part of our DNA, to be outward driven. Didn't think we would ever own a facility. We would always rent. Our vision was to be in the marketplace. But I realized that day that I'd made it about butts and seats, not about making disciples. So we began to turn the ship. We were only 2.5 years old as a church at that time.
And how many people were attending?
We had just bumped 600, started hitting around 600. And for our area, that's, good for our area, especially for any new church plant at 2.5 years old. Yeah. We'd just moved into an economically depressed mill village, which was a major deal because a 90-plus-year-old church went through a couple of church splits, a traditional Southern Baptist church, and called us. We didn't have a place to meet. The high school was giving us the boot, said we had to get out. And this...
You guys still doing okay?
Mm-hmm. We're doing really good, thanks.
And this church called us and said, hey, we believe in the vision God's given you. We want to be a part of fulfilling the Great Commission. There was about 40, 50 people left. They called themselves a remnant. And they turned over everything to us. Gave us $2.2 million worth of property. Had an old traditional sanctuary on it, an old school building that was the school and the church in this economically depressed mill village, and just gave it to us, which is unheard of in our area especially.
Praise God. I never heard that.
And so God put us in that economically depressed mill village to make disciples. So it all began to become more clear to me that that's one of the things He wanted us to do, was reach that community one house at a time. So our vision is to start a C4 group in every home in the shadow of the steeple.
What's a C4 group?
C4, when we first started as a church, we were C3, Element Church. C3 stood for Celebrate, Connect, and Care. Celebration, large gathering, worship, connect, small groups, connecting to small groups, not reproducing discipleship groups. They were just small group Bible studies, cell groups. Care, that was our missions, serving the community, serving evangelism component. Missions from Jerusalem to the uttermost parts of the world. After this encounter with Jeff and encounter with God about making disciples, Jeff and I began to talk about it, and in a brainstorming session, if I recall right, Jeff said, "Man, isn't C3 like an explosive?" And I looked at him and like, "Yeah, I think it is." And being the intelligent guys that we are, we Googled it and realized, oh, it's C4. C4 is an explosive. That seems sort of cheesy a little bit, but we thought, hey, we need another C to communicate the vision of where we're going. Jeff,
the new piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, the new piece, the making disciple component, reproducing disciples. And Jeff said, hey, internationally, the word catalytic and catalytic churches is a key word, a big word they throw around. And he said, what about catalyst? And we were like, man, that's it. And then we began to talk about that, they found that when these reproducing discipleship groups reproduce to the fourth generation, it becomes explosive. So that was really everything we wanted to communicate to our body. The goal is fourth generation and beyond, to reproduce to the fourth generation. So it will become explosive and begin to saturate lostness in our community here. And so that's how C4 came about.
Cool. And what do they do in a C4 group?
A reproducing discipleship strategy, the T for T process.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And we'll link to all of that. So they're T for T groups that are reproducing disciples and groups. So you brought that into an existing church. How did you do that?
Starting off, it was we did a message series. I was pretty
gung-ho?
Yeah, gung-ho, fired up. Hey, we're going to turn the ship.
You were uncharacteristically gung-ho.
Yes. Started off the next, I think it was a Sunday after I met with Jeff. Came up in front of the church and put a pew on one end and a couch on the other, and wore from the waist up, had a suit on, tie and everything, waist down, jeans and flip-flops, and began to preach a message about, hey, it's not about how we dress, it's not about the form, the building we meet in, it's about saying, hey, church can take place on a pew.
You guys anything? I have to keep checking up on.
Yeah.
More Pepsi?
No, I'm good, really.
Top me off on water here in a minute.
No problem.
Thank you.
The church can take place in a pew or on a sofa in a home. Well, when I started talking about church and home, we started losing folks. Went down numerically, but went up in baptisms and salvations. But some of those people are migrating back. So that was I probably could have did that a little more carefully, a little more strategically. But now, hey, I don't know if I regret doing it or not. But
you cast vision, and then what did you do to move from the vision cast into sort of walking it out for the church?
We just totally went away from connection groups, which are small group Bible studies, and began to promote C4 groups. We even initially was going to make that part of membership. We still don't have membership right now, but it was going to be a requirement. It had to be in a C4 group. But we backed off of that too. It's probably another one of those gung-ho moves. So now we've totally gotten rid of connection groups, and we've made it C4 groups, which we strive to make sure they are intentionally have a reproducing component, but it's much more difficult than we thought it would be. to keep them outward driven. I would say most of our groups, we've actually went down in number of groups, and I think that's because they're not outward driven. So we're trying to put some things in place, some iron on iron, weekly iron on iron leadership training, this catalyst service we've recently launched, just trying to do some intentionally organic components to get people doing, reproducing discipleship, because it's so easy for, I would say the majority of our groups have become nothing more than small group Bible studies.
The C4 groups?
Yes.
Okay.
Because there is no outward component. So we started praying about it, thinking about it. So we said, well, hey, let's help them find their who. Even though they have the who's in their context of where they live, in their oikos, we couldn't get them to do it. So right now we're experimenting with something called Jerusalem Project, which is the shadow of the steeple, about, a mile around the church, saying, okay, every C4 group, we're assigning you a street. And so you're going to prayer walk your street. All we've said is prayer walk your street once a month. That's what we want you to do. Just Luke 10, looking for a house of peace. 3 groups really have done it effectively, in my opinion. And so out of 3 groups prayer walking 4 times, we have potential to be in 8 homes. So great fruit, in my opinion. So,
I think it's more like 10 or 12, really.
Really?
I do.
And these homes are just a mile from the church building?
I would say a quarter of a mile.
Some of them on Costa Rock over there.
And a couple of them, if I remember Clint saying, have said we don't do the church thing. Some historical hurts, family, whatever it may be, but they're unwilling to go to church in this county.
So you're getting your folks, those who are willing, to prayer walk just a stone's throw from the church, but the goal is to do the Bible study in their home, not to get them, I mean, you'd be happy if they came to the church, but your immediate goal is not to get them to come to the church, which is just a walk away.
That's correct.
And why is that?
You might want to edit this. I don't care if they come on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Because it's not working. We live in Redneckville, Bible Belt. 85% of our community does not attend church. The next county that we're trying to reach, Cleveland County, still small, redneck, a little larger. 89%. There's 99,800 people. 10,000 people. It's on record. 10,000 members. That's members in churches in Cleveland County. So 89,900 do not attend church. It's not working. So our goal is to say, hey, and Jeff says it all the time, it's not the great come mission, it's the great go mission. So we're going and taking church to them. We're saying, hey, we're not going to have church, play church, or go to church. We're going to be the church. So we're taking church to their home. And if they come on Sunday morning, great. But part of me is not sure if I want them to, because if we were a complex church, Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, I definitely wouldn't want them to, because it becomes a distraction of them reaching their oikos. But because we're not, I'm okay with them coming on Sunday morning to celebrate what God is doing in and through the church Monday through Saturday.
Okay, so what you're looking at then is, the services are celebrations, but the life and the action is in the community, in homes, in neighborhoods, gathered around the scriptures, learning to be disciples. And that's what you care about.
Yes.
So if it's helpful for them to attend your church, that's fine. But what you really care about is making disciples. And you're forming church in their world, multiple churches in their world.
Yes.
Okay.
It's funny, we have where we are now, it's an old church campus, so they have the old sanctuary, the old bell outside.
Yeah, I've seen it. I wanted to ring that bell.
Well, and for over a month now, it's like I see that bell, and I just, for some reason, was sensing God wants to use that bell somehow. I know that sounds crazy. Well, we were outside talking one day, and I realized, man, we just started this catalyst service, and we're going to begin to send people out. They come in for training on Sunday morning, and we're going to send them out. The bell used to mean to this economically depressed mill village, or when it was a thriving community, ring the bell. It's time to come to church. It's time to come to church. We're going to now ring the bell, sending people out to say, we're coming to you. We're bringing church to you.
Well, in fact, I mean, you said sort of a mile radius. Well, that might even be, you want to initially reach every home that's in earshot of that bell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it will happen.
And it's going out.
If it's a senior adult who's lived in that neighborhood for years, or a young couple who just moved in, like Nick and Kayla, the home that Clint's in, when they hear that bell, now they're going to go, hey, they're coming, which is pretty cool to me.
Now, the Element Church now has 3 campuses. You've started up in Shelby, as well as here in Forest City. Are each of the campuses doing something similar, or is it just around the sort of mothership?
Just around the mothership right now, but we're getting ready to kick off a Jerusalem project area in Shelby. Shelby's different. There are more little communities, little developments where those C4 groups in those areas could prayer walk those little communities. But we're going to say adopt a street. If it's near your C4 group location, near your home, if you don't have that, then you can adopt a street in the Jerusalem Project area.
But the Jerusalem Project is at mile radius.
Yes.
Yep. Advice for other pastors that would like to give this multiplying discipleship and churches a go.
Again, I feel like there's definitely going to be some paradigm shifting and busting in their context, whatever it looks like. But that needs to begin with them. Mm-hmm. And I think one of those paradigms that I had to deal with was embracing those words that God spoke to me through Jeff was, do I want to grow a church or reach a community? Mm-hmm. Do I want to saturate lostness? And so that's the first step. I think really being convinced, man, what we're doing is not working. And look at the statistics in their area, in their context, and see. But making that decision to say, hey, I'm going to begin to do this myself, personally, begin to do this. The other thing that comes to mind is again, I don't know their context, but if it's looking, there where they are and saying, hey, here's some people that I know would buy into this and begin to do it.
What do you mean by do it? You mean
prayer walking? To me, if we had to go back, and I think we started there, and I'm not sure what happened, but just beginning there, just saying, hey, we're going to group, we're going to begin a prayer walk, live out Luke 10, and look for a person of peace, get in a home, and go from there. And the lead pastor or whatever their context is, and Jeff had been telling me this, has to lead the charge in it. The step we've taken recently, I wish we would have done it before, is for us a Catalyst service, because Catalyst is that C4 component for us. And so on Sunday morning during the 10:45, our main worship hour, we're taking one of our campuses, one of our auditoriums, and it is now a Catalyst service. We still have worship, but we do the 3/3 process in the service.
So people are sort of sitting around tables?
Well, in circles of chairs.
Circles of chairs, yep.
And we have worship. We've realized we all like it. We do worship, then we do the first third, have worship to break that up, have another third, have worship, and have another third. And then sort of a sending out song, like something like go tell, go get them, types.
We'll leave the interview there. I'll post a link to the Element Church on the blog at movements.net. I'll also link to the following and fishing booklet that will give you some of the basics of how to do what Neil and the other guys are doing in the community. Early January next year, my next book will be out called What Jesus Started, and it will cover these things much more in depth, looking at the ministry of Jesus, how he trained the 12, how he empowered the early church and Paul to do the same sort of things that Neil and Dean and Clint and others are doing today. And if you get onto the blog and order the book before November 30, then InterVarsity are offering a 50% discount. So you can find all that at movements.net. Till next time.